Hello everyone, my name is Aura and welcome to the 37th devlog of my base building game, Chambers of Devious Design. So, the time finally came, I finally got to release my game. I'm going to be talking about the release, how it went and things like that, but just quickly before that, for the sake of the devlog, maybe I will mention a few things I did before the release. So a lot of my time before the release was spent on the marketing tasks. Well, pretty much almost all of the time, I would say. So the main thing I did was creator contacting, so there was a lot of emails being sent. I also did some miscellaneous marketing things like preparing some text for the release day, like some thinking about Reddit posts and stuff like that. I will likely later on do a separate video about the marketing I did, kind of like what was worth it, what went well, what was not worth it, what didn't go so well, and yeah, stuff like that. Then related to the Steam stats, I think I have mentioned in previous devlogs. So I'm using these kind of like to gain information how the game is being played and how popular some features are and things like that. So yeah, I have these stats in the game, and what I did now before the release was write a quick little Python script that basically checks all of these stats, what their current status is, and then exports that information into a CSV file. So I get this handy little file which I can easily browse through and kind of like quickly look at the specific number I want to look at, rather than just query it from the Steam web API. And then maybe at some point, if I'm really feeling like it, I could maybe add a few graphs here so I can easily see kind of like what the trend has been with these stats, which direction have they went, and yeah, stuff like that. Maybe I can look at a few examples here. So it would seem that the Turkish language is not very popular, so I can see that only 2 people have had it on the last time they played the game. Which is actually pretty interesting because I have looked at my region stats after the release, and Turkey has been like decently high in the list, not really on the top, but still higher than I expected. So it's kind of surprising that they're not playing with the Turkish language. They're probably using English. Okay, that's enough about the stats. I might do a deeper dive into these numbers later on if you think that might be interesting to look at. So, the release. How did it go? Well, I would say that it was kind of like a roller coaster ride, at least emotionally. But yeah, the release went okay. It didn't go like super good, but it didn't go super bad either. So I pressed the release button. Maybe you saw my video about that I hastily had to edit together to get it out as soon as I could. So after I had pressed the button, I had to also do some marketing tasks to let people know that it is out now, and then I also released the patch for Mortal Glory and shared the news on that game's page also. And yeah, the start went really smooth. The sales started coming in and the reviews started coming in. And by the way, a huge thanks to all of you who supported me, bought the game, and maybe also gave it a review. It was really helpful to get that early momentum going on. If I remember correctly, it took me 8 hours to get to the 10 review limit, which is really important for the Steam visibility. The moments before hitting 10 reviews were kind of nerve-wracking. I mean, I had refreshed the page constantly and watched how it slowly rises, and then it got stuck to the 9 reviews, and it was already really late where I live here, something like 2 a.m. in the night, and it took a really long time to go above 9. I don't know, something like an hour or so. And well, in the end it did, and it jumped to 13 like instantly. There wasn't any middle ground. So I don't know, maybe there's something like some task from Steam's side that will automatically be done, but there's a small delay. That's what I think, because I noticed that the like jump from 9 to above took longer than it took for the other reviews to update to the score. So yeah, with the power of hindsight, I think I could have recruited more of my friends and family to buy the game early and give me an early review. I mean, getting to 10 reviews in 8 hours was pretty good, I would say, but it wouldn't have hurt either to get there faster. Alright, but so 10 reviews came in, and that was kind of like the first milestone that I wanted to reach with the game. So what happened next? Well, my next big milestone was kind of like many leaps above that, and that was to get on the front page of Steam, specifically to the new and trending tab. I mean, my first game got there and it got a lot of impressions from there, and it resulted in a lot of sales. And I'm very happy to say that during the first day, my second game, Chambers of Devious Design, also got on the front page. Kind of. So yeah, I noticed that the game was on first place on the new and trending tab, and I was really excited about that. But there was a slight asterisk to that, because at some point, I don't remember if it was me who noticed that, or I think I might have gotten a comment in the Discord or somewhere that someone wasn't able to see it on the new and trending tab. So that led me to do some investigations, and yeah, I noticed that it was not there in every country, which was a bit of a bummer, but I mean, it's still nice to get there. But yeah, I have talked about this in my previous videos, and I knew it to be true that the new and trending tab is region specific, but in my early excitement I didn't really remember this fact. So yeah, I got maybe a bit too excited about the fact of seeing my game there. But yeah, I did some testing with a VPN, and my game was there at least in Finland, France and Hong Kong. There were also many places I couldn't check with my VPN, so I think it was there in some other countries also, but I couldn't know for sure. Okay, so at this point I had gotten 10 reviews, which was good. I had gotten on the front page of Steam, kind of, which was good. And then the next good sign was that in the first day I actually sold more copies of my second game than I did with Mortal Glory. So all in all, I was pretty happy about the first day. But then the second day, that wasn't quite so good. I mean, I noticed that I started dropping out from the trending list, which was a bad sign. Then there really weren't that many videos being made about my game, so that also wasn't such a good sign. And also one very worrying sign was that I had quite high returns on the game. I will talk a bit more about the returns in just a few moments. But I will say that one good thing actually has been that the game has been relatively bug-free. I mean, there have been 0 game-breaking bugs, and now almost a week after the release there have been a few bug reports, but mostly they are very minor. Okay, but so high amount of returns, that was a bad sign. But then I got a few good signs. I mean, I made a few posts on Reddit about the release, and they got some very nice traction there. So that's kind of a good sign again. Then I noticed that in some of the countries I got back on the new and trending tab, so that was a good sign and nice to see. And then I noticed that many creators started making videos about my game, so that was a good sign. But despite all these good signs, in the end, the commanding bad sign that I noticed was that my sales chart on the first day it went whoop, but then on the second day already it started going down. So yeah, with Mortal Glory it was the opposite kind of. I think it was something like 4 days that it went up and then started going down. But yeah, this second game of mine, it peaked much earlier and the sales started dropping down. So that's not a good sign if you want a lot of sales. At this point you're probably wondering, so how much has the game sold? I'm going to make a separate video about that once a bit more time has passed. I mean, when I'm filming this it has been less than a week, so I wouldn't want to be too premature on that. But I will say that at this point the sales are okay. I mean, they are not super good and they aren't really super bad either. So yeah, kind of just okay. But yeah, look forward to a separate video about all the exact numbers, and I will also do some analysis on how the sales might develop in the future and how much I might end up like making in total after a few years. Oh yeah, and I promised to talk a bit more about the returns. So I think I will probably touch upon this in a different video also, but just quickly, the main reason for returns was that the game was not fun. So that tells me that maybe the idea in the end wasn't the best idea to choose for a game, or I just wasn't able to convey the gameplay like as good as I should have. But I think the idea in itself is kind of conflicting maybe. I mean, it's kind of a simple idea, the gameplay is fairly simple, but there's also this deep, complex element to it. Like, if you want to do well in the game, you need to do a lot of thinking also, kind of like optimize your positions and things like that. While on the surface it seems like, yeah, I just go ahead and place blocks here and yeah, it's like this relaxing game. So yeah, but I will talk more about the idea and kind of like my analysis on it. But one of my dev friends summarized it quite well, I think. He said that it's a good game, but it's not a good product. I think that summarized it quite well. But yeah, as mentioned, I think I will make a separate video about the idea, or at least talk more about it as part of another video. So a few days after the release has mostly gone by just responding to people, communicating, reading stuff, looking at the videos creators have made, and now it's getting kind of quiet. So what am I planning to do now? Well, I actually already started working on the 1.1 patch for the game, add some small common requested features to the game, and then fix some of the bugs that have been reported to me. I will likely do a few patches to the game over a few months or so. Before the release, I was also thinking about a DLC to the game. I mean, I had this cool idea in mind for a new game mode, at least. A game mode where you could capture enemy rooms and stuff like that. But now that I started thinking about the DLC in relation to the release sales numbers, it just doesn't really make much sense. I mean, if I made a DLC, that would be many months of work, and then also the localization would take a lot of money. And in the end, even if I estimate a good amount of people will buy the DLC, I think at best I would just break even on the money. So yeah, I likely will ditch that DLC idea and instead start thinking about a new game idea. Yeah, so I think that brings us to this day. I think this will likely be my last devlog. I mean, I will still do some like development of the game, make a few patches, but it's not going to be too exciting, so I don't think I will film videos about those. But I was thinking that I will likely do a few different retrospective videos about the development process. I mean, I have written down a lot of thoughts about it, so I was thinking that maybe I could try make a few videos focus on like different aspects, like maybe the marketing, maybe the idea, maybe the development process. Try to kind of like distill the whole process and get like this concrete little like lessons that I can learn about this, and then maybe you can also learn from my mistakes and successes. So yeah, I hope you're interested in those kinds of videos. I think I will do those in exchange for these devlogs for a while. And once again, before I end the video, thanks to all of you who supported me through this. I think without your support, the release would have not gone nearly as smoothly as it did. Alright, but hey, that's pretty much everything, so thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.